Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wrestle Scope, your trusted source for the most unfiltered, high-impact wrestling coverage anywhere on YouTube. And tonight, we are coming to you live with a major breaking news report from inside the WWE Universe. Because what just unfolded inside that squared circle was not just a match, it was a war. It was chaos. It was a physical and emotional masterpiece that left the entire WWE locker room and the fans around the world stunned into silence. Tonight, Ilja Dragunov has done the unthinkable. He has survived one of the most brutal encounters in recent memory, and in doing so, he has retained the United States Championship after an absolutely insane showdown against none other than Johnny Gargano. Hello viewers, if you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. But make no mistake, this wasn't your average title defense. This wasn't a clean victory. This was a violent, unrelenting, career-defining collision that might go down as one of the most emotionally charged and physically punishing United States title matches in recent WWE history. And we're going to break it all down, every shocking twist, every brutal exchange, every ounce of heart, pain, and defiance that defined this match. So, if you thought Ilja Dragunov was just another champion holding the gold, tonight proved you wrong. And if you thought Johnny Gargano was just another returning underdog, you're about to find out why he almost shattered the myth of the Mad Dragon right before our eyes. Stay with me. This is Wrestle Scope, and this is a breaking news report. The build-up to chaos. The road to Dragunov versus Gargano. Let's start with the build-up, because this match didn't just happen. It was months of tension, layered emotion, and a collision of two worlds that were always destined to clash. Ilja Dragunov, the reigning, relentless, unyielding WWE United States Champion. A man who has built his entire career on pain, on punishment, on resilience. The Mad Dragon, the embodiment of intensity. And then, Johnny Gargano, the rebel heart, the man who redefined what it means to be an underdog in WWE. A man who left the company, rebuilt himself, and came back not to smile, not to wave to fans, but to prove he still belongs. For weeks, the WWE Universe watched as Gargano's quiet confidence clashed with Dragunov's violent resolve. There was respect, yes, but underneath that, a growing storm. Because Gargano didn't just want to return, he wanted validation. And Dragunov, he wanted recognition. Two men, two missions, one title, and one night that would end in blood, sweat, and shattered limits. The match begins, violence from the bell. From the opening bell, it was clear this was going to be different. The crowd in Chicago erupted, but within seconds, that excitement turned to stunned disbelief, because neither man waited. Ilja charged like a predator, unleashed, no hesitation, no feeling out process. He slapped Gargano so hard you could hear it echo through the entire arena. And Gargano? He smiled. He invited it. That was the moment everyone realized we weren't watching a wrestling match. We were watching a fight for survival. Every strike, every suplex, every scream, they meant something. Dragunov's offense was violent, surgical, controlled chaos. But Gargano's resilience was terrifying. He absorbed the pain. He countered with heart. And when he hit that first super kick right on Dragunov's jaw, the crowd exploded. It wasn't about who was stronger. It was about who would break first. And for the first 10 minutes, neither man blinked. Dragunov's dominance, a champion possessed. As the match reached its middle stages, Ilja Dragunov reminded the entire world why he's one of the most dangerous champions on the roster today. He wasn't just fighting Gargano, he was fighting his own demons. Every chop, every knee strike, it looked like Ilja was exercising something deep inside. At one point, Dragunov screamed into the camera lens, veins bulging, yelling in Russian, "You cannot kill what is already broken." That single moment sent chills through the audience. This wasn't just physical, it was psychological warfare. He crushed Gargano with a running knee into the corner. He followed it with a Death Valley driver onto the turnbuckles. And when he connected with his signature Torpedo Moscow, fans thought it was over. But Johnny Wrestling refused to die. At 2.9 seconds, he kicked out. And you could feel the air being sucked out of the arena. Ilja's eyes went wide. He didn't understand it. He looked lost, angry, almost insulted. And that's when everything changed. The turning point, Gargano's rebellion. The match turned when Johnny Gargano decided he wasn't going to survive anymore. He was going to fight back. Dragging himself off the mat, clutching his ribs, he began throwing punches that didn't even look like wrestling strikes. They looked like pure desperation. He ducked a lariat, hit an enziguri, spun off the ropes, and nailed a slingshot DDT that nearly ended it. But Gargano wasn't done. He trapped Dragunov in the Gargano escape, wrenching back with every ounce of strength he had left. The crowd was screaming. Ilja's face turned red. He reached desperately for the ropes. But he didn't tap. He refused to tap. It was Dragunov's turn to show his insane resilience. He clawed, he dragged himself, and finally he reached the ropes. The audience stood. Even commentators at ringside didn't know what to say. This was something beyond storytelling. This was endurance and emotion fused into violence. Both men break, and the crowd breaks with them. At this point, both men were barely standing. Dragunov's chest looked like it had been slashed open from Gargano's kicks. Gargano's lip was split, his eyes glassy, his breathing labored. But the crowd wouldn't stop. They were chanting, "This is awesome." And for once, it wasn't exaggeration. It was truth. Every fan knew they were watching two men sacrifice their bodies for something bigger than gold. They were fighting for pride, for validation, for the right to be remembered. Ilja hit another Torpedo Moscow. Gargano kicked out. Then Gargano hit one final beat on the floor. Dragunov kicked out. The arena was losing its mind. You could see fans covering their mouths in disbelief. Referees were shouting, "Keep it clean," but at this point, there was no control. This wasn't about rules anymore. It was survival. The final moments, the Mad Dragon strikes. 25 minutes in, every ounce of energy spent, both men crawling, eyes glazed over, the referee begging them to end it. Johnny goes for one last super kick, but Ilja catches it. He looks Gargano dead in the eyes and says, "End of heart." Then, boom, a headbutt so vicious that both men collapse instantly. The crowd gasps. Ilja somehow rises first, blood trickling down his forehead. He roars, spins, and connects with a final torpedo. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, it's over. Ilja Dragunov collapses beside Gargano, both motionless, both spent. The referee raises Ilja's arm, but he can't even stand. He's shaking, clutching his title, whispering something only the cameras can barely catch. Pain is beautiful. The aftermath, silence, and respect. When the bell rang and the chaos subsided, something rare happened in WWE. The crowd fell silent. Not out of disappointment, not out of fatigue, but out of respect. Because what they had just witnessed wasn't just a title match. It was a testament, a living, breathing example of what professional wrestling is at its highest level, art through agony. Johnny Gargano slowly sat up, looking across at Ilja Dragunov and nodded. No words needed, no handshake, just two men acknowledging the hell they had put each other through. And then Ilja extended his hand anyway. Johnny accepted. The crowd erupted once again. That moment, that simple handshake, said more than any promo ever could. WWE's backstage reaction, shock and awe. Backstage, the atmosphere was electric but uneasy. Producers, superstars, even Triple H himself were reportedly in awe.
One WWE insider described it as, quote, a match that redefines what intensity looks like in the modern era. Ilja's aura after this, it's different now. Multiple superstars took to private interviews saying they've never seen anyone push Dragunov that far and survive. Others questioned whether Gargano's body could handle another war like that. And there's one undeniable truth. This match changed the landscape of the United States title. It's no longer a mid-card belt. It's a symbol of endurance, and Ilja Dragunov has now elevated it into one of WWE's most prestigious championships. What's next for both men? Now the question that burns through every fan's mind: what happens next? For Ilja Dragunov, the road ahead looks like one of dominance, but also one of exhaustion. This match took everything from him, and though he still holds that title, you can't help but wonder, how much longer